live on our Facebook page. I'm your host, Ed Nunez, along with producer Alden Iwani. Our very special guest is Santa Rosa Lions head coach David Chavez. His Lions beating Loving this past week in the semifinal 43-16. They'll take on the Dexter Demons for the 2A championship in Santa Rosa on Saturday at 1 p.m. Coach, welcome to the show.
Quite little correction. We played Texaco on Saturday.
Sorry about that. No, Texaco beat Nunez 36-27.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And what a game that was in the Texaco is undefeated. And
yes, sir.
They, under Coach Bob Gilbreth, they do a good job. You played them earlier in the first game of the year, and we'll talk about that later.
Yes,
but,
sir.
You've been the coaching there for quite a long time in Santa Rosa, the head coach there for 5 years. The last time the Lions played in the championship was 2018 against Nunez. And, Nunez and Texaco have a great rivalry. But you have to feel pretty good where the Lions are right now, the way they're playing. I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 wins in a row. And you've got to feel pretty good about where Santa Rosa is playing and where they're headed Saturday. That's going to be a very good matchup on Saturday. And I think a lot of people, I'm sure you're looking forward to it. Texaco, as you mentioned, their line, and we have a question for you later about their offensive line and how big they are. But tell us Saturday about the game against Loving. Tell us a little bit about that one. You thought I talked to you on Friday. You thought 47-13 win. You thought you had a good shot. And tell us a little bit about that game.
Loving came in hot. They were playing good football. They had upset Legacy, I'm sure, as you know, in the quarterfinals. And they play good football. Obviously, they have a tough schedule, and we expected a battle. To our kids' credit, we came out with a lot of fire. We came out excited, and we jumped on them early. And as the game settled in, they played us a little tougher, but it was just too much for them to overcome. We just jumped on them early, played with a lot of emotion. Our crowd was excited. It was an very exciting game.
I'll tell you, he's going to have to be excited about Saturday because the task is a tall one. It is. You're taking on the number one team, and Bob Gilbreth, 11-0 on the season. They pitched 5 shutouts as a defensive unit. They've had a couple of close games with Olton of Texas, I believe, 18-12.
Yes, sir.
West Las Vegas, 24-14. 2 games with Eunice, and Eunice with Coach Jackson. I had Coach Jackson on my show a couple of years ago. They do a great job out there too. So it's got to be a challenge, and one that you're getting to host. The fans, I can only imagine the town there all week long. Whenever you go somewhere, it's small town, but they're in love with. They love their Lions. So it's got to be kind of an exciting atmosphere. An exciting week for you. As you mentioned, you haven't played in a championship since 2018, so you've got to be. I'm pumped up talking to you about
it. Yeah, you're getting me pumped up, man. No, our community, they really embrace them. All small schools, they embrace their local teams, and our community, man, they go all out for championships. It's very rare you get to host one. We've played in 19. And this will only be the 4th time we get to host one. So our community is going to be on fire. We're excited about it. We know it's a challenge. Texaco's they've been the team to beat the past 2 years, and we've had our chances at them, and we haven't got the job done. But we're looking forward to the challenge. We know them, they know us. We play similar styles of football. We're expecting a battle, and we expect our community to be behind us and be excited for this opportunity for sure.
That's got to be the excitement. I've covered. I'm going down to Bloomfield, and my son is actually covering your game on Saturday. And I've got a question from him in a little bit. He's excited. It's his first championship, and he's an up and coming young broadcaster. I couldn't be more proud of him. We've got chances to work together several times, and it's his turn to fly off on his own. Man, it can't always be. And he always says, "Let me spread my wings."
Yes, sir.
Well, go ahead, son. He's going to have a fun time on Saturday. So tell us a little bit about the start, though, because, lost to Texaco to start the season, beat Jal, lost to Robertson, played some, and then you lost to West Las Vegas. And then it's sandwiched in between then a win against Tularosa. But the Lions on a roll after that. Tell us a little bit about how things kind of turned around there. You got a ground-heavy game. You rushed the ball.
Yes,
it's almost like Espanola Valley when they played Pius. You knew they were going to run. And
yes,
so
sir.
you're going to run the ball. There's no question about that. Tell us a little bit about how the Lions turned it around.
Well, starting the year, we probably had the toughest schedule we've had to start the season. And we do that for a reason. We want to have a tough pre-district schedule, but we lost a solid group of seniors last year. We lost 9 seniors that had started since they were sophomores, and so it was kind of a rebuild to start and getting some guys experience and getting guys ready. And the type of schedule we had doesn't do you any favors in that respect. And it took a little while. We had some adversity. We had some injuries, but I think that journey, you know, we could have went one way or the other. After the West game, we kind of had to have a heart-to-heart. It's kind of the rock bottom of that early part of the season, and we really had to look at ourselves as coaches and players, and we really made a decision to come together as a team and start doing things better and start doing things a little different, and came together as a team, and we've improved every game since. Our defense has got better, offense has got better, special teams has been a strength of our team, and just part of the journey, part of the process. You know, you hate to start the way we did, and hate to start the season like that, but it was part of the journey of this team, and I think it got us to where we needed to be.
You know, I got to ask you this. You know, I've coached, basketball at Highland and AAU and, ref, and I've been around a lot of teams. What was the message to you and your coaches? You got together and the team, they bought in, obviously you won 8 in a row, but was there a certain message that maybe things you tweak here and there as far as scheme systems, or just a motivating message? What was it?
The biggest thing was learning from those before us, I think, was the biggest message. We've have a strong tradition here going back to Coach Frank Ortiz and Coach John Warfield in the 80s. And I wrote every player's name I could think of. I wrote it on the board, and I told them this is how all these guys did it in the years past. These are all these coaches did it. And we signed our name to it. We made a commitment to do it the way it used to be done. And to these guys, you know, they were young. They were still trying to figure things out, but we just made a commitment to getting back to doing things the way Santa Rosa does things. And to these kids' credit, they believed in my message and our coach's message, and then us as coaches too. We had to look at ourselves too. Times are a little different, and it's a little hard to deal with the phones and distractions and everything that goes on. And we just kind of went back to, I'm going to say, full old school mentality, but somewhat of an old school, old type of Santa Rosa way of doing things, and just got back to doing things the right way. That was the biggest thing.
I'll tell you what, that's a buy-in right now. I told you I went to school with Frank Ortiz, at Eastern. I was a 19-year-old kid,
Yes, sir.
and I had a little bit of game basketball, but that guy was older, better, stronger, smarter. Man, he made some passes and just, they were magical, and he had that dog in him. He had to learn, and even when he coached at Santa Rosa and I was an official, a basketball official, man, Frankie would get after you, man. He would. He would. But respecting him, right? Because you mentioned him. He's a legend there still,
Yes, sir.
right? He's still a legend. But
Yes,
I got to
sir.
tell you something, Coach. I've been around, I've told you, a lot of kids, and I was coached a certain way. You were coached a certain way. It's different now. Now, Coach Ortiz, he's a legend in Santa Rosa. He's a legend there. There's no doubt.
Yes,
Maybe
sir.
someday they got a Frank Ortiz drive. You don't know. We have no idea.
Well,
right?
the field's named after him already.
Yes, so, yeah, and deservedly so. But it's a different buy-in. So I got to ask you that. Kids these days are not the kids that we coached, or
Yes,
the way I was coached. I played for Bill Duffy one year at St. Pius, and that guy, man, I made one mistake, and oh man, whoo, finger in my chest. But you know what? All I did was play harder, man. That motivated me to play harder. The different buy-in, though, you can mention Coach Ortiz, and most people know who he is, but sometimes kids are stuck in their social, yeah, right? You can't.
Yeah.
So I just got to ask you, you must have had a complete buy-in, because the record and the wins in a row indicate that they did buy in. And it's a key thing these days, because kids, as we mentioned, are different now, very different.
Yes, sir. It's a balancing act. You can't. Coach Ortiz, I'm the coach I am, due in large part to him, but kids don't respond the same way they used to hard coaching, and there's a balance, and there's a fine line and sometimes they try and do things their way, and we just we had to communicate to them and try to get through to them to realize that you know, the old ways of doing things still works. There's nothing wrong with being focused. There's nothing wrong with putting the phones away. A little bit of old school, a little bit of new school mixed in, you know, give and take, letting them use their phones when it's appropriate, letting them have some fun when it's appropriate, but knowing that when it's time to focus and it's time to lock in, you got to get locked in. And no, I think I have a great coaching staff that they're really good with the kids, building relationships, all that kind of stuff, and it all goes hand in hand.
You're a 1991 graduate of Santa Rosa yourself. That
Yes,
helps.
sir.
They know who you are. They respect that. And that mixture, I have to think about that, because those phones, they be calling them, right? They're, you know, it's hard for them. Sometimes I'm hooked on it. I'm a member of 20,000 groups on history groups, sports groups, Laker groups, Cowboy groups, Lobo groups. And I feel like I got to comment on every one, and I got to stop. Oh, and then political groups too, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm on, you know, and my wife's like, you know, can you put the phone down? And she's right. Put it down, man. You know, and sometimes it gets addictive, even for an older guy like me. We got about 2 minutes left, and when we get back in the second half of the show, we're going to show your pictures. But this is a question according to from my son. Okay, my son's got your game on Saturday, and
Yes,
my son Nick Nunez. The question is, according to Max Preps, Texaco has one player on the offensive line that is 6 foot, 295 pounds. Another lineman is 6 foot, 270 pounds, and the third lineman is 5'10", 250 pounds. This is one of the biggest offensive lines in the state of New Mexico, regardless of class. Question: what does your defense need to do to match the physicality of Texaco's offensive line?
We're gonna have to use our quickness. We're gonna have to use our conditioning. And you just mentioned 3 of those. There's still 3 more that are the same size or bigger, and their fullback or H-back, they call him. He's about 250, 260, and can run as fast as a running back. So, man, it's going to come down to our quickness, our technique, reading keys, conditioning. We've been there before. We've played them. This will be I want to say 5th time we've played them in the past 2.5, 3 seasons, whatever you want to call it. And no, we just have to rely on our strengths and our quickness. We're not as big, you know, no one is, but our kids are determined, and they're going to give a great effort. And I think really it's just going to have to come down to technique and being quicker than them, staying low, all the little things that coaches preach. I think our D-line has been a strength of our unit this year, and it's a tough task to play against those big guys. They wear down on you. Last year in the semifinals, we were toe to toe with them, and they just wore us down in the 4th quarter with their size, and we just got to do a better job handling it and continuing to play our game.
You know what's coming. You like I told you with Espanola and Pius. Pius did an excellent job, and you know, they got the job done, so it can be done for sure. Physicality definitely will help Texaco, but you've got a game plan, and we'll see how it goes on Saturday. Very exciting time for Santa Rosa, no question about it. Coach, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about this year's version of the 2024 Santa Rosa Lions after these messages on the sports desk.
Sounds good.
Playing the red zone. Be a big handoff. Cam Dyer keeps it himself and runs right into the end zone for the touchdown.
Clock going, unofficial clock. 38, kicking it into space. It's in the area. Nice job. Kick, good. It's gold. St. Pius gold, if you will.
Going to take a shot down the right sideline. He intercepted. Is he in bounds?
He certainly is.
He is.
The snap. Here comes Rosa, and he's brought down.
going to have that in the back of his mind this time.
Oh,
And this time, there's no doubt. Grego swallowed up for the safety there. Unabated to the quarterback. Joseph Garcia comes in and makes the play.
Here he comes again. But he just kind of played a little sugar, little wheel.
Cut. There's Dallas at the 20, 15, 10, touchdown Academy. And Braun was hit as he threw. At least this evening they are. Takahashi, play action pass. Airs it out, open, caught. Oh, what a catch. What an amazing catch by Jace Pitt.
And it's going to be a lot. He's
Always got blocked on the right side. 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. Holloway is gone for a touchdown. We said he was due for it. There it is.
Yeah,
Dyer in Mr. Formation. Snap, break handoff, quick throw, left side. And Jaden Parsons down the sideline. Green grass in front of him. Will he get there? 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Bears.
That was Salazar's first made and attempted field goal. This is fielded at the 20-yard line, and it's handed off there. Look at all this space, midfield, and not looking back. Sideline and gone, maybe down at the half-yard line. Touchdown! Ochoa takes it all the way back into pay dirt.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk live on our Facebook page. I'm your host, Ed Nunez, along with producer Alden Iwani, our very special guest, Santa Rosa head football coach David Chavez. And coach, we were mentioning, you're going to be a championship Saturday against the Dexter Demons Saturday at Santa Rosa, 1 p.m. And what a week it's going to be in Santa Rosa. I can just see the town, and balloons. I can see it, man. I love that stuff.
We're gonna paint the town purple.
Oh man, literally. I got a quote from you from a Santa Rosa resident up there, and he and I have got to be friends on Facebook. Santa Rosa head football coach David Chavez is there. Available moment for every youth everywhere. He's retired JPO in every facet of life and sports, and that's from Davey Delgado. I don't know if you know Davey and I got to be friends on Facebook. And
I talk with Davey every Monday. He's our local sports reporter, so me and him usually are discussing the past weekend's game every Monday.
He's a big fan of yours. He's a big fan. Him and I just kind of connected on Facebook. I've never met him personally, but sounds like a really, really good guy.
Yeah, no, he's been a part of Santa Rosa athletics himself for years as a reporter. He was actually our youth football coach when we were little kids.
Really?
Like, I think third, fourth grade, probably. He was probably one of my first coaches.
Yeah, anyway, he's I'm sure he's excited too. But
Yes,
you've only thrown the ball 38 times. Josh Cordova is your quarterback. I wanted to go in to your ground and pound. Josh Cordova, 1,370 yards. He averages 7.53 yards per carry. You've also got Daniel Zamora at 464 yards, and then you've also got David Chavez. He's got 445 yards. You as a team, 2,824 yards, 6.94 yards per carry. Tell us a little bit about, you got a ground and pound too that Dexter is going to have to deal with too. So talk a little bit about your ground and pound game. I'm sorry, that Texaco is going to have to, I keep getting them mixed up. That Texaco is going to have to deal with. Texaco they've got to stop you too. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, those stats were pre-Lovey. Now Josh is up to 1,500. David and Daniel both had outstanding games. They're both over 500 yards now. But we run the single wing, old school offense. Coach Ortiz, he coached under Ted Hearn and Moriarty, and they had to run it in Moriarty in the early 1980s. And then Coach Ortiz brought it here 1985, and we've been running it ever since. It works for our kids. We got a spinning fullback. We got guys running left and right, and we're trying to use deception and power. That's the one thing. That's the one difference between us and Texaco. They're just going to run over the top of you. We try to use deception and power, and our kids love it. Our community loves it. It's it obviously it goes back to Coach Ortiz and Coach Ted Hearn, bringing it and mastering it, and us continuing to believe in it around here. Our community loves it. It's our kids grow up learning how to be a spinning fullback. It's not easy to spin and spin all game long. There's opponents I've talked to. They say they try to simulate it in practice, and their fullback gets dizzy after a few plays. But it's an exciting brand of football. It's old school. It's one of the original offenses, as you know. But it works for our kids. We never have a lot of size, but we play physical. We play quick. We try to get more pullers to the point of attack than the other team. And man, we just want to run the ball and keep pounding it, and eventually a big one's going to break. And we're always the biggest challenge is we don't want the team to know where the ball is, man. And we're doing our job. The other team don't know where the ball is. Our fans don't know where the ball is. Sometimes the refs don't know where the ball is, and we take pride in it. We're going on. This is the 39th year of us running that offense, and it's part of Santa Rosa. It's part of the Lion culture, and our kids truly do believe in it.
And you have to. Moriarty's been running that single wing for years.
Yeah, wing.
I went to Hyden High School, and Bill Gentry ran the double wing. He ran the double. So you Moriarty, like you mentioned, that's a lot of discipline. And it's worked. Look at the numbers. Chris Berman would always say, look inside the numbers, man. And the numbers are there. The numbers are there. So, it flips both ways. Even though you lost the first game to Texaco, it's been a long time. That's the first game of the year. And you've peeled off 8 wins since then. And they're, again, Bob Gilbreth and Texaco, they're a very formidable team. You're not going to say anything other than that. They're 11-0. They're ranked number 1 for a reason. So you got your work cut out. But it's going to be again where you've been 8 wins in a row. You got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, we do. And traditionally, us in Texaco, that first game we didn't play good football, and they handed it to us. There's no doubt about it. No excuses. But when we meet up, it's usually a battle in the trenches, man. And I expect no different. And they play good football down there. They got a lot of talent, and we're going to do our best. And advantage of playing at home. And your home crowd and the excitement of being at home, we're going to use that to our advantage, and we're going to play our best football.
You've got also, let's go to your defensive side of the ball. You got 16 interceptions. They run the ball a lot, but Darren Pacheco had 4 interceptions, and I think you had another guy with 4 interceptions as well. David Chavez, 10 tackles losses, which I thought is pretty big. Now, talk about your defensive unit. They're huge. They're huge on Saturday because you got to get them off the field. You know what's coming. They know what's coming with you. You know what's coming with you know what's coming with them with Texaco. They're going to run the ball, and they're going to run the ball and run it some more. Talk a little bit about your defensive unit, how important they're going to be on Saturday. That's huge right there.
You and I both know, man, championships, offense is a big part of it, but ultimately, if you want to win a championship, it comes down to your defense, and our defense is much improved. We got a solid D line. You mentioned David Chavez. He's our middle backer. He's our anchor. We also got a kid, a senior, Jared Chico. He's just he's a menace, man. The guy he flies all over the field. He had 4.5 sacks against Loving. Our D line probably had their best game they've had against Loving. Our DBs they were very inexperienced coming into the season, man. But Darren Pacheco, Preston Muniz, Josiah Barella, Sean Bonney, they've turned into a strength of our defense. So we know it's going to come down to defense. We know it's going to come down to winning first down. Texaco don't want to be behind the sticks the same way we don't want to be behind the sticks. And we're counting on our defense to keep that game in where we have the advantage on first down and we win first down. And like I say, man, championships are won with defense. You want to be a championship team, you got to play defense, and we know that. We're going to preach that all week, and we're going to do our best to get those guys ready.
You're exactly right. They gotta win on first down. Now I've got to ask you this. They lost the first game of the season, but again, you reeled off 8 wins in a row since then. What's the mood of your unit, your team? I bet they can't wait, man, because they won. You're playing the best, right? Best on best. That's they say best on best. What's the mood of the team going into Saturday's game at Santa Rosa at 1 p.m.?
Man, they're excited. They're excited. These kids, when it's even more exciting when you have the adversity that we've had to make it back to where we're at. They're excited. They're ready for the challenge. They're we're not gonna worry about how that first time around went. We're not. It's a different season right now. It's a different time. We're a different team, and we know they're tough. We're not taking anything away from them, but we're going to focus on ourselves and what we can do this week to get ourselves ready and be the best version of ourselves. But they are excited. They're focused. They're hungry, and we can't wait. We can't wait for Saturday. But we're going to put in some work this week for sure.
The build up, baby. The build up. The hype. I can see it, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for my son. My son's going to have a great call out there, and I'm a proud papa too. It's important to note. Graduated Santa Rosa '91. Played football, ran track for Coach Frank Ortiz. Played basketball for Coach Victor Pettis. Graduate of New Mexico Highlands, a master's in degree counseling. Local business owner. 25 years juvenile probation. What Davey mentioned. You've been there for the kids. That's important, man. They see you around town, small town. There's coach. Such a big role besides just football. We know that, right? It's about life, just like it was for Coach Ortiz, teaching you things. You've been married to Rivera Chavez, 2 sons, 1 daughter. I'm sure you're also a local business owner, Lionheart Strength and Fitness Coach, CPPS certified strength and condition, which is huge. Certified coach. They're gonna need that strength on Saturday, baby. Yeah. They're gonna need it. They're gonna need it. Santa Rosa head coach David Chavez, we thank you so much for joining us today on the Sports Desk, and we wish you all the luck Saturday in the championship game.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you guys having us, man. We're ready. Santa Rosa's on fire, man. We're ready.
No, I bet you are, man. It should be a nice weather too. I think should be a nice, beautiful day for some football, man. Nothing better than that. For producer Alden Iwani, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you next week on the Sports Desk.